I don't think you actually care whether or not Hassan does any of this. I think that you dislike him and you like using these things as vectors for attack.
Oh, really quickly?
Yeah.
I know Irrelevant. I'm a VIP in his chat. That is bullshit. He cares a lot.
Right. Well, even if it was true, that is irrelevant to the claim, is it not?
It is. It's so funny because Vaush does. He always has this phrase, vaguely gesturing at perceived hypocrisy. That's all he's doing.
Are you a paid or unpaid VIP? I'm just curious.
I'm an unpaid VIP.
Oh, fuck. So does he really care? Let's be honest here.
Oh my God, what a hypocrite.
I know.
Caught him.
Because if you were really concerned with the utilitarian harm that he does, I think you'd be attacking him.
I just want to say I did watch some of his content because I was curious about that myself. And he does seem like he's all into this, like doing the right thing stuff. Yeah.
Sure.
If he moves up through the ranks, him and Lance are going to do this co-op thing. It's going to be...
Yeah,
it's going to be real. You got to love people who actually believe this nonsense. It's like, okay.
Yeah, you love them like a retarded puppy dog.
Yeah. It's not going to work, guys. Join the capitalist team.
I feel like I should be extra mean now that I know that Doomer's likes him.
Some VIP in his chat.
God damn it, Sid.
You just threw away all your cred, Doomer. Look. You're saying, listen, I am the simp in his chat, so I'm not going to throw any shade at him.
Oh yeah, there's no way I'm biased in this conversation. Yeah, I'm going to side with Vaush, the guy I fucking made a 2-hour screed against.
Listen. That's okay because we like that. Okay.
Yeah, totally.
He espouses, not for these.
I do both.
Well, I see what makes the headlines. It's not just you. Rather than this toothless attempt at constantly undermining him because people think he's not living the monastic lifestyle of a true socialist.
The fucking monastic lifestyle. No, do something. Literally anything.
Pay your editors. That's not monastic. To not pay the fucking exploit your workers. So according to Vaush, exploiting your workers is okay, and not exploiting your workers is a monastic lifestyle. All right. So there you go.
Lied off of the label that Engels fact workers produced. If I really wanted to get, woke scoldy about it, I could go back to
they skip
the origins and say that true socialist.
Skipping
not just
for you, huh?
Rather than this toothless attempt at constantly undermining him because people think he's not living the monastic lifestyle of a true socialist. Even Marx relied off of the label that Engels factory workers produced. If I really wanted to get, woke scoldy about it, I could go back to the origins and say that Das Kapital was written off the blood of, the proletarians exploited in Engels factory.
So I said this before, and I'll say it again because Vaush keeps bringing up this fucking example. That Engels had an exploitative factory that he was using to finance Marx's publishing. Okay. This is the opposite of what's happening. Marx used the system to gain money so that he could promote socialism. Hassan is promoting socialism so he can engage in exploitative capitalism. It's literally the inverse of what you're fucking talking about, Vaush.
Yeah.
This would be like if Engels was financing Marx and then Marx's book blew up and so that he was making more money than the factory. And then Engels said, hey, why don't we take the money you're gaining from selling your Communist Manifesto book so I can buy some more fucking factories and exploit more workers?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That would be the example.
Oh,
Marx's book didn't make any money, though. It was a failure.
Right.
Capitalist failure.
I mean, people still don't even read it today.
That's they just hold it up and they pretend to read it, but they don't actually read it. It's just a big, heavy paperweight.
So this just comes back to it. Do we have no moral obligations that we hold anybody up to? They just do whatever the hell they want.
He's just telling you can encourage them to do better.
Okay.
He said yes. He said, does no one have moral obligations? And he said yes. Well, I guess he's saying yes, they don't. But then he said just encourage them. So no one has any moral obligations whatsoever, according to Vaush.
Yeah, the moral obligations are the interesting part for me. That's what I was fascinated by in this whole conversation because they keep talking about it, but not really in specifics. What are these moral obligations?
Sure. It's kind of funny because in the Vaush video, the section people objected to the most was the morality section, where I said he's not really a consequentialist and he's actually kind of a nihilist. He doesn't believe in anything and he doesn't believe in morality. Kind of getting a little vindicated on that here.
It totally.
Yeah, no moral obligations. No, just suggest people do things.
I just you can't build
Okay,
a moral
buddy.
system that way.
Well, right.
Rape and murder cannot be a fucking suggestion. Okay, it just doesn't work.
Adam,
It would be nice if
Fraud,
you don't fuck
lying
kids.
cannot be a suggestion. You have to keep people fucking honest.
the speed limit is just a suggestion, Adam. Okay.
Yeah. See, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
The red
that's the
light at the
thing.
intersection is just a suggestion. It's like, you should probably stop here, you know, maybe.
This is why this is also just a utter failure as a moral system. And the fact that they're talking about it in moral terms, I mean, it's a little bit triggering for me because we need to talk in specifics. This is a perfect opportunity to talk in those specifics, but they never really do. It's like, yeah, just try and do better. You know, it's like give to charity. Fucking that's what capitalism says to do. What is different about your moral system? Let's get into it. I want to know. I want to know. Like the next person that this happens to, the time to start telling people that when you get rich, you need to do X is before they are rich, because then you are getting them on the record saying, oh yes, if I was rich, I would be doing this. If I was rich, I would be doing that. There's a reason why Vaush is sitting here not making any fucking declaratory statements about what the rich should do.
Adam, you're not being fair, because he's actually made very clear prescriptive statements.
Okay.
When you get rich, you just need to tweet that Marx was based.
Oh,
and that's it.
See, this is what the guy fights back against. He's like, so is it just like shit posting on Twitter?
Yeah,
what is the
unironically,
moral
yes.
system?
I mean, Praxis is one YouTube video. I mean, that's unironically his position.
It's crazy because that means you and I could be better Marxists than half the people, because we could probably make a video that got more views. Ridiculous. Here, I'll click the button. Sitch is obviously left.
So then
I usually leave it to you guys. Sorry.
At that point, like, if we're holding nobody up to any kind of moral standard,
I love it when I start moralizing and Sitch is like, perfect opportunity for me to slip away. Adam will talk for 45 minutes.
What a lazy fuck.
It's hilarious.
It's such, you run a show, you can't even sit here for 10 hours.
Thing standard.
You got to pause it if you're going to talk, Doomer.
Well, I started talking while I was paused. I was just getting one thought out.
No, I played it. Let's listen to the video.
That you're setting right now.
At that point, like, if we're holding nobody up to any kind of moral standard,
I don't know why you keep saying that. It's because the ought doing thing standard that you're setting right now seems to be incredibly arbitrary and fueled by a particular dislike for the person. Which is why.
Stop.
Sorry. God damn it. So that was the continuum fallacy. This whole, like, it seems really arbitrary.
Yes.
That is demanding a threshold that is like unreasonable to meet.
But it's even further than that, because it sounds like he's saying having any oughts is arbitrary.
Yeah.
at some level.
There's no all a moral system is oughts and ought nots. What are you talking? You can't have morality if there's no oughts.
Well, he's trying to redefine morality. He's trying to sneak in moral nihilism by just making everything supererogatory, and then morality doesn't exist.
You know what? You're so right, because you said he's a nihilist, and everyone said no, and it's like, here you go, guys. Perfect example. It's all on display right here.
You can't build a moral system on arbitrary oughts either. So I mean, this.
Well, of course,
the whole reason I'm watching this is because I'm like, okay, here it is. Finally, Vaush has honed in on the problem. They're arbitrary. Let's get some that aren't arbitrary.
Right.
But he never delivers. He never fucking steps up.
The leftists, they use the term arbitrary. It's like a buzzword that means meaningless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they say like, oh, gender is arbitrary. Oh, moral oughts are arbitrary. It's like, no, none of these things are arbitrary. Like, you can say that they should be changed, but none of them are fucking arbitrary.
Yeah. Yes. The moral system has to function. Yeah.
I said you would never do this for other people. People do this for other people. We don't see this in mainstream media, and we don't do this to regular political pundits.
Lies,
it's
fake.
socialists.
I know, it's so fucking fake.
Everyone gets attacked for hypocrisy.
This is a full-time thing. Hypocrisy's like the jam. We love sniffing out hypocrisy.
It's socialists who get these attacks, and it's been happening for centuries. Toothless cowards, that's not you, by the way, I'm mostly thinking of Ben Shapiro, who have no real counter-argument to our position, so instead they whine and bitch.
That fucking triggers the shit out of me when he says you have no real counter-argument.
When I was watching this, I was like, I bet Adam's triggered. He's like, bitch, I argued with you, Vaush, and destroyed your stupid argument.
Dude, I did. I listened back to that debate, and I was completely amazed at the position he took. But it occurred to me as I said this, because I say this exact same thing about the people who keep coming at me on MMT, because they're not presenting a real counter argument that shows that they even understand what I'm talking about. And they give me the same thing. I've presented like 1,000 counter arguments and you're just fucking full of shit. MMT is garbage.
The argument is it's going to cause inflation, Adam.
That's the argument? Yeah,
that's the argument they always give you. It's going to cause inflation.
I know. They're saying that it's infinite money printing, which would cause inflation. Wow, we're not arguing. You're on my fucking side.
I think it's a little different, but yeah,
it is completely different.
I think it's a little different. Yeah.
I hate the fact that I have to say this, but I mean, they don't have a counter argument as fake news.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, it's an easy way to get rhetorical wins. Oh, you can't have an argument. Like, okay, buddy.
No one can defeat my big brain 10-dimensional socialist argument. So they just have to say that I'm a fucking hypocrite because I actually don't live my principles. Now that might be true, but you can't defeat my argument.
You can't just say there's moral obligations, man.
I think this conversation destroys all of Vaush's socialist arguments. Okay, if you can't live your principles, I think that's the ultimate destruction of the fucking argument.
He made, in the debate that he had on our channel with Sargon, Vaush made the argument that worker co-ops were a far more efficient and productive way to structure society. And he said, I have all these studies and papers and stuff like that prove this. If that's the case, I mean, why wouldn't Hassan want to jump right in and start a worker co-op? I guess it's because it's just not financially feasible.
Well,
for
if
him,
that's the
even
case,
though it would be.
If they were more efficient, they would have taken over the market already.
No, but that aside, even if you had two models of organizing a business, one is the worker co-op, which is 1,000 times more efficient than the old school system where, the boss gets paid for, the majority of the money, how they conceptualize a business. If a normal person is going to start one of these businesses, he's going to start the less efficient business where he makes more money. He is going to do that, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So there's really no incentive to start the workers co-op. That's why in Hassan's situation, he's like, why would I start a worker co-op? I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to start buying 10 plexes in South LA, man. I'm going to be a slumlord. I'm going to get rich.
Wealthy are just hypocrites, and the poor just feel guilty, and that they don't actually attack any of our positions because they know they can't. So instead, they go back to these circuitous, meaningless, arbitrary...
I know. See, you're laughing your ass off. Why are you laughing your ass off? What's funny about that?
It's just the fucking rhetoric. Like, well, they know you presuppose that your arguments are undefeatable, so your opponents must be bad faith, and you do that while being bad faith is fucking lying and saying dumb shit. Like, it's just,
I know,
so fucking funny.
These arguments are unassailable, Doomer. Stop laughing, okay? This is serious shit.
That's hilarious. That's like the perfect one-line sentence to describe Vaush. You just nailed it.
You are looking at the smartest man on the internet, Doomer, okay?
The internet.
I really don't like your
all
insolence.
Human history, Adam, okay? In the universe, has the universe ever produced a mind so sharp, so clear, so morally nihilistic?
Vaush is the modern day Marx, and Hassan is the modern day Engels. It's beautiful.
These arguments are unassailable. The only reason that people are mad at us is because we're so cool.
Boundaryless arguments about whether or not you're truly living as a socialist, living your principles. I don't know what it means to live your principles. Do capitalists not buy from subsidized?
Yeah, I know.
I
Get
don't know what it means. I don't know what it means to live your principles. Yeah, we fucking know, bro. We fucking know.
I want to know though.
Flip it and ship it, dude. Caught in 4 fucking K.